All right. So, Lope, we've known each other for a long time. We actually
Yeah.
just found out that we were only a couple months apart from when we joined the Phoenix Fire
Yeah.
Department together. So, fire equipment service worker, 19 years with the fire department, 2006 to present. He specializes in the maintenance, cleaning, inspection of our PPE, which is our turnouts. Married for 10 years, 5 kids, and a
Granddaughter.
granddaughter.
Yeah.
That's wild, dude. We're not old enough to be grandparents. That's for
Yeah, that's for
them.
me. I got the white.
Yeah,
How come I'm not a grandparent? Yeah.
dude. So, just some background on it. Obviously, what we've been doing with Firefighter48 has been, we've obviously crossed into a little bit of the health and wellness, some of the mental health stuff, but the biggest thing has been the cancer things that have been hitting the profession. And you play a massive part in that and have seen, everything change.
Oh,
We
yeah.
just talked briefly, like when I was in the academy, it was a point of pride to be able to have that dark, black helmet, dark
Yeah.
gear. And the last thing we're doing is sending it in.
Yeah.
You've been able to see the evolution of that
Yeah.
from behind the scenes. So happy to have you here, man. Thank you
Oh, thanks
for
for invite.
coming out. And I think it'll be really cool I was a red shirt, so I kind of knew the way things worked, at resource and the way the back end things work. But
Yeah.
I would hope, that maybe somebody who's out in the field who wasn't a red shirt, who doesn't have access to you and doesn't know how to get plugged in to get some questions answered,
Yeah.
can kind of hear what your everyday life looks like and how you're helping us out in the field.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah.
I'll turn it over to you. Maybe a little bit background on what you do, what your day looks like, and kind of what your careers look like in the Phoenix Fire Department.
Yeah. So, I started 19 years ago, '06. When I first started, it was kind of the PP area was kind of a storage unit. We had 2 extractors, 1 dryer, and a couple blowers that Captain Derby built. And really, he wanted to start a program where we'd go out to the stations. We had couriers go out to the stations and pick up turnouts where the guys get off shift. And then point is that to clean them, inspect them, and have them back before they get back on shift. It was the only person that was me. I was the only person there working, so I would have to go to the stations, pick up, come back, clean, inspect, and then take them back out. But at the time, like Ben said, nobody wanted to turn their gear in. So I remember the first station I went to, I was like, "Oh, I'm here to pick up your turnouts." They laughed at me and like basically told me, "Oh yeah, you're not taking my stuff." And so I was like, "All right, cool." So I went back and I was like, "Hey, Captain, they didn't want me to grab their stuff to wash it." And he's like, "It's going to take time. Change is hard in the fire department." So, we just kept working. And pretty soon, Captain Mernsberger was in there, kind of took it off because Gore kind of had a recall on their moisture barrier. And we started getting more into, hey, we kind of need to start this program up, get it dialed in. So we did. Captain Gonzalez came in, Al. He kind of pushed Chief Miller, Mark Miller, to kind of, hey, we need to find some money to redo this whole area. So he did. He found money. He redid it. We got more extractors. Now we have 6. We have 5 dryers, 6 blowers. And basically, we just started a program to where every battalion would get hit. So every station would get hit every day, A, B, and C shift. We would pick up their gear, make sure it's back by the time they get back on shift. So everything inspected. And NFPA, you need to check their gear twice a year. And that's NFPA standards. So basically, that's what we do. I come in. I have 3 couriers now. I call them. The guys call a number that's on their whiteboard. Hey, I just had a fire at Station 25. Can you come pick up my gear? So I'll send the courier over there, pick it up. They'll bring it back. We'll soak, wash, inspect, and then put it back all together. And then they'll have a tag on it, and the courier will take it back out the next morning.
So prior to 19 years ago, what was the process? How did guys get their turnouts clean?
So before I got there, they had one guy doing it. I can't remember his name. He was a light duty guy. And he would just come in and do them. And then the red shirts would take them out. And that's how they did it. But a lot of guys weren't sending their stuff in. So they would probably get maybe 5 sets a day. Now we get about 45 to 50 sets a day.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a lot. The culture's changed a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. What, so when, obviously like when my dad was a firefighter in the 70s,
Yeah.
they didn't have cancer on their mind at all. How much, now because of the cancer's, yeah, it's the
Yeah.
conversation now. How many guys are just like, they just send you their turnouts with a little bit of contamination on
Oh,
it just
everybody.
because, yeah.
Everybody. I mean, they'll be like, hey, I had a garbage fire. I wasn't in it, but I was close to it. Can you wash my gear? Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll do it. It's just a big culture change. And it started, you start to see at the academy because they teach a class, about your PPE, what it does, how it works and, how we maintain it, maintenance it and all that stuff. And basically it starts from them. They go to the station and they're like bagging their stuff up, taking it apart, and everybody sees it and they're like, oh, so the booter will be like, hey, Captain, can I send your stuff in? He's like, all right, cool. Bag it up, send it in. So everybody started doing it.
Everybody gets 2 sets of turnouts, right?
Yes.
Which is an evolution that he's seen as well.
Yeah.
So that wasn't always necessarily the case. Like when I got out of the academy, they would give you 2 sets if you were going to a ladder truck.
Yes.
And it wasn't so that it was a cancer mitigation strategy. It was if you're on a ladder, you're on a LT and a ladder. So you needed 2 sets of gear. So it wasn't even necessarily that
I
they were
see.
giving it to
Yeah.
you. It wasn't a mitigation strategy at all at that point in time because we just didn't know any better.
Yeah.
But now, yeah, everybody's given
Yeah.
in Phoenix
Yes.
specifically. We're pretty fortunate on that.
Yeah. You are.
So tell me about the process, like once you have the turnouts and the PPE.
So once we get the turnouts, we take them apart. We soak
is
the
that?
outer shells.
So there's multiple layers to
yes,
them?
there is. So there's an outer shell and there's an inner liner. So we separate them because you don't ever want to wash them together. So we take the outer shell and we soak that in a soak tank that we have with the solution that we buy. It's called Citro Squeeze. It's basically for carcinogens and heavy metals. We soak that in for about 45 minutes to an hour while we wash the inner liners in the extractor. We take those out, put them on the dryer, and then we take the outer shells out of the soak tank and we wash those. And then once those are done, put them in the dryer and then we put them back together. We inspect them, hydrostatic test them, make sure nothing's leaking, the moisture barrier, any of that stuff, no pinholes. We look at the outer shell, make sure there's no holes, abrasions, like charring, where it's going to rip. Put them back together, and then they go back out.
What is so when like how fast can you turn these things around? Like
Normally, we could probably knock them out in 24 hours.
wow,
Or they're back, yeah, on shift.
So you've got to have like a real operation going,
Yeah,
right?
it's not just me. I have 3 couriers that are great, and they hold it down there right now. We got 5 barrels right now at the shop.
What does that mean?
So 5 barrels of turnout. So we have these big old totes, and that's where they come in. Like when the couriers pick them up, they put them in the totes and they wheel them in.
But what's like the life expectancy of these
So
things?
they're 10 years.
Really?
Yeah. So they last about 10 years. Some, if you're
And
at
you
a
can keep them nice looking for 10 years?
yeah, you can.
There's other things that come into play as well.
Yes.
Like I remember what we used to send into them. Like it was probably ridiculous, like ripping at the seams and they
Yes.
get caught on stuff.
Yeah.
And
Guys do a lot of skills courses. So they rip them up. A lot of guys don't know if you leave them out in the sun, the UV will kill them. So that's a big thing. They do, let's say they do like a grinder session, they do a skills course. Well, they leave them out in the sun to dry and sweat. Well, the UVs will beat that up. And next thing you know, they'll rip.
So I guess that actually speaks to a pretty good point. Like if somebody like the ideal audience within this whole thing would probably be firefighters. And what would you say that a decent amount of us don't know about the process? Like the sun thing is, to me, like that seems like a no-brainer. Like maybe don't leave it out in the sun.
Yeah, like
but
UVs.
what are some stuff that you think guys should know that they don't necessarily know?
Keep it out of the sun. That's the biggest thing. That's one of the things you guys can control. Everything else, make sure you guys wash your stuff, anything carcinogen wise, like, trash or any kind of fire, send it in. There's all sorts of stuff. You might not be in the fire, but that stuff's getting on your outer shell.
Yeah.
And you guys are going to smell that, try not to keep,
Is that the test? If you can smell it, it's
oh
there.
yeah. You can
So it's
smell
not really
it,
about
yeah.
having necessarily dirty turnouts. If it smells like the chemical fire,
you can
you should
smell it,
just
yeah.
deal
And,
with that.
just don't keep any dirty turnouts in the cab. Switch out everybody's 2 sets, like Ben said, 2 sets, change out to your clean one. That's why we give you 2 sets, and that's what they're there for, But that's the biggest thing, like guys, they don't know, hey, can I send this in? If I had that, send it in. We'll wash anything. Your mask, helmet, boots, gloves. We'll do everything.
Dude, you guys are so awesome over there in that shop. It's never been like anything. Like, hey man, my boots are all torn up. I got you. Like here,
Yeah.
let me send them in. Let me take a look at them. Like every single time these guys bend over backwards for the field.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I don't know if everyone looks at it the same way I do, because I know Resource as a red shirt. You're somebody who can kind of know how that thing is. But dude, you guys are awesome over there. If someone's new and they weren't a red shirt, what does that process look like? So me and Patrick, we go on a fire, get back to the station, have our gear. What is it? What is the process and the expectation for? How do I start that process for getting it to you? And then what do I expect as far as when they come back? If I'm a rover and I'm going to be somewhere else next shift, what does that all look like?
So basically, when you get off fire, come back to station, you bag it up. There's a number on the board, and it's directly to the shop, the PPE shop. Leave a message. The courier will come pick it up the next day. So say it's Monday, you call Monday afternoon. The couriers will pick it up Tuesday morning. We'll get it back, wash
Is there
it.
weekend restrictions to that?
So Fridays, I basically work every Saturday. I mean, Sundays are, I need time for my wife. She'll kill me if I work, all week. So basically, so Friday, if you send it in, Saturday we get it. We try to, we get it Friday, we wash it. It'll be back Saturday. You're in rovers, we got to look you up. If you land on a Sunday, that's pretty hard to do. We can't look you up until, the day of. So, but guys will call me and be like, hey, I'm roving, but I live by station 29. Can you drop it off there? Cool. Send it there. Or I live by 72. Cool. We'll send it there. So Sunday or Saturday, they'll come by, pick it up. And then next thing you know, they have it for their shift on Sunday. So that's kind of like how it goes and what we try to do.
What's been the evolution of cleaning from 19 years ago? Like, are you constantly refining the process of what you use to clean, or is there new cleaning products to?
Yeah, we've used Citro Squeeze since Cap Derby here. So it has to be like 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so we use that solution just the way.
What's it called again?
Citro Squeeze.
Citro Squeeze.
Yeah, so just the way.
It's like an orange base.
Yeah,
kind of thing,
it is actually.
Like a degreaser.
Yeah. So basically, it combines and it grabs all the heavy metals and carcinogens out of the turnouts, and then basically, if you see our soak tank, like on the bottom when we rinse it out, you'll see a bunch of heavy metal dirt that's just on the floor from it taking it out. Yeah. So. That process, when I first started, we didn't have a big soak tank. We had a 55-gallon drum. We soaked one set at a time. And that process was taking forever, so we started like, hey, we need to get a bigger soak tank. Guys are sending more stuff in, save time, try to get, your guys' sets back. So we started that. And then, Chief Miller, Chief Wardell, and, Chief Guile, they were like, hey, we need more extractors. So they started getting more extractors, now we need more dryers, so that process. And then they built out, it was like a little storage room. It's small, everybody, now it's pretty big, and they got us room, they built us what we needed. And, the chiefs that we've had, they've always taken care of us. And so they gave us, hey, what do you need? I tell them what I need. And they're like, hey, we'll make it happen.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a long process.
Do you ever think like while you're doing what you're doing, that some guys aren't going to die because of what you're doing? It's really important. People don't.
Yeah, I look at it like, hey, it's cleaning, and I'm trying to help the guys out, trying to keep them safe. But, like I tell everybody, we're support service. We're here for them.
But you play a huge part in cancer mitigation and.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just, I love my job. So I come in every day and it's just, hey, I'm going to wash gear. I've been doing it for 19 years and I love it.
Dude, to his point though, it's a huge thing when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like think about how far you've gone from coming to the station and just having to come on, dude, just give me your gear so I can wash it too. Now it's just
now they're like, I got a tiny smudge on my elbow, send it in.
Yeah.
And it's being handled. Cause sometimes you send it off to Never Land. You didn't really know. And it wasn't we didn't even know where to look. We gave no direction. There was no communication. But when you think about it, it's a genuine fear that's within the fire service of getting cancer. And it's not going to be everybody, but it's like, man, there are some things we can do to prevent it. And you're a huge part of doing that, man. So it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I love it.
What's next? What's the next evolution? Because obviously you're looking down the road of the best way to do things and keep the gear, get the gear as clean as possible. I
Yeah.
mean, can you get it 100% clean?
So we reach about 98%. So that's real big in the fire service. So our solution and the way we do our process, it gets tested through UL, and all the documents see how much we take out of heavy metals, carcinogens. So it's about 97%. And we run off. There's an ISP here, and they're an independent service provider, and a lot of the other fire departments send their gear there to get cleaned and inspected. He's a good friend of mine, Scott Peterson, Arizona PPE, and we basically anything that happens or changes, like chemical wise, if they need to add chemical to our pumps, our machines, he comes down and he adds all that. So he basically takes care of all that stuff. Anything that we change, or if they're changing in the NFPA, like the water temperature, the spin rate, any of that stuff, he'll come and change all that. So we really don't have to mess with the machines. He'll deal with that. So it's actually pretty cool.
How do like rural fire departments and small volunteer fire departments, do they have anything like this?
I'm not
or-
too sure. A lot of people, like, they go to ISPs and they pay them, and they'll come pick up their gear. They kind of have the same system we do. Well, they'll go pick it up, take it back to their shop, clean it, inspect it, and then send it back. So it's been going on for a while.
Phoenix has been kind of a leader in the cancer space and a lot of things. Do you ever have other departments contact you for?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do they ask?
They just ask, hey, what's your process? What are you guys thinking about going when we made the big switch to red zone gear? They're asking a lot of questions for that because that's a particular blocking turnout, full closure. And they're asking, hey, how do the guys like it? Is it hot? How's it wearing? Stuff like that. And they want to come down to the PPE area and check it out. Yeah, they're like, hey, we heard about your area. Let's check it out.
But is there any technologies on the forefront here that are coming up, like additional ways to get it from 98 to 99? Like,
yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
like
I mean,
ultraviolet light, lasers. I don't know.
yeah,
like,
there's Lion has a CO2 process, CO2 cleaning that they do.
How does that work?
Basically, it's a big machine. Chicago just bought one. It's a huge machine, and it doesn't have any water, any of that kind of stuff, and it's just CO2, and it supposedly cleans the gear. I've never seen it before. Cleans the gear.
Just the gas?
Yeah, something like that.
How would that work?
It's just crazy. I mean, I've never seen it, but they talk about it, and I'm just like, okay, yeah. I'm more a traditional washer. Like, hey, I want to see that dirt coming out.
Yeah.
But those CO2 machines are so expensive, and
Like what?
I would think about almost over $500,000. Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. And
Jeez.
if I believe other cities do other things too, and I mean we're at core, so they might know some of the things too. Is like they're doing like the extractors at some of the newer stations now too,
Yes.
right? So it's
Yeah.
almost like a decentralized thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the advantages and disadvantages are to that, but it is kind of crazy. Like we're trying to put out information, and I know this is helpful to the Phoenix crowd, like when we talk, because Lope is doing all that, but I get hit up on the social medias portion of this, and people will be like, well, how do we do this? And it's I don't know. I don't know what each city by city. Everybody's kind of trying to attack this different. And I'm sure 10 years from now, we'll look back at what best practices are and be like, okay, this is what everyone's going to do. But the cancer thing has just it's hit us in the face very quickly, I feel like, over the last few years. And I think we're all trying to figure out what's best. But dude, what we're doing in Phoenix is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's nice.
That room used to be like, I feel like as big as this table. And now it's like, dude, it
huge.
goes all the way to where they're repairing the rigs and all that stuff over there.
It's just like a little storage unit. I mean, everybody used to store their stuff in there. It's pretty crazy. And I should have brought the pictures of it back in the day when we used to have it, and it was just crazy. Everybody's like, no way is it at that area now. And I'm like, yeah.
So do you think there's still any like holdouts in the fire service that are still like, I don't need to clean my gear, it's fine?
You always get those guys. It's culture change. It's hard. Guys don't want to change.
Is it the old school guys?
Oh, yeah.
No new guys are.
Nah.
Yeah. You think the new guys have the fear?
Yeah, they scare them in the academy. Like, because a lot now in the academy after every burn, they're like, hey, decon, take your gear off. Send it all in to get washed. Back when, Ben went through, I mean, we really didn't have a process like that.
What's the process on the truck? Like, do you have to bag it like You're not
That's
allowed
the
to bring in the
idea.
cab.
So now, I mean, strategically, we're talking about this. It's part of our command procedures where they're setting up a decon location on a fire. So it's literally talked about, and this is
Really?
yeah, and like you come out of the house. When I got again, what we've changed, there's so many different things we can point to, but when you used to come out of the house, dude, unclick, doing your thing, and now it's like, no, don't unclick, like leave your, and when I talk about click, I'm talking about your SCBA clicking into here. They don't want you to do that now. You're going to walk out, you're going to go to the decon area, they're going to decon you and spray you down, and ultimately those turnouts should not be back in the truck before they get to Lope. And we've kind of come, Jason Miller's another guy who was at our station. He saw his storm stick thing, and we can talk more about that, where it was like a device where you could spray you off, because before that, it was like, okay, we'll get the red line going, and we would have some dish soap and we'd scrub some people off. It's kind of been different variations of different things, but we're still trying to find our way on that. But I mean, the bare bones of that is do your best not to breathe in any of that stuff before we do our best to be able to clean it off of you, and certainly don't put it back on the truck before you send it to him. Unless I'm understanding it wrong.
Is there like a compartment on the outside of the truck or something you put stuff in to not bring it in the cab?
Bag it, put it in there.
Wow. So all firefighters have their second set of turnouts at the station, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
it complicates things when you start talking about rovers or overtime things. It makes it a little bit more complicated, and that's where these guys probably have a lot more work.
Yeah. If you're on a ladder truck, that's hard, because they have two sets and one gets, dirty. They're going to have to go back and forth, putting their gear on each ladder truck. So, we just try to get it back. They'll call me or text me, hey, I'm on a ladder. Is there any way I can get this back soon? I'll be like, yeah, we'll make it happen.
Now, you said the metals. Is metals in smoke, or is it just from rubbing against stuff?
There's whatever
interior
fire, whatever
kind
you
of thing?
burn, like lithium battery, heavy metal.
Oh, duh. I guess that makes
just
sense.
whatever's in a house. You guys go in a warehouse, they're doing metal plating, that kind of stuff. It's, you never know what you're going to see in a house.
What do you do with the heavy metals that come off? And I mean, what is there like?
That's what I was always curious.
Like,
I mean, are you guys getting exposed from our exposure down there?
So we have
How do
we
you
wear
protect
gear.
yourself?
Yeah, so we wear gear when we take everything apart, and then I make sure
what's the gear?
Just like the little suits, zip up suits, and then we wear
like a hazmat kind of suit,
we wear gloves, and then we wear a mask, and then I make sure the guys wear, before they leave, they change their clothes, to clean clothes, so they don't take that stuff home.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's nice. You got like a special ventilation system or anything? No, you need one.
Yeah.
Ben, can you arrange that? Let's have it there by Monday.
Get right on it.
I'm sure it'll only cost $500,000, like everything else.
Yeah, we have a downdraft table, and basically it sucks.
Oh, that's cool. It's like a paint booth or something.
Kind of. It sucks the carcinogens or anything down into a carbon fiber filter, so we don't smell any of that stuff. So they bought it maybe about 6 years ago, so it's been working good.
Are you part of like the scene, Lope, where you get to where like the conversation about the newer turnouts? Because it was obviously like a kind of a big bomb that was dropped when it was like, hey, PFAS is in all these turnouts. Have you been like part of any or gone to any conferences where you've seen like what it is that they're trying out to be PFAS free or anything like that?
So we go to Fiero every year, and it's a conference up in Greensville, South Carolina. It's a PPE seminar, and they just talk about, they have scientists there, doctors, kind of like what's going on with the PFAS or the lithium battery. PFAS was real big, and then the lithium battery started coming on, so that kind of switched to that. And just to see what they're trying to do, they're trying to build a PFAS-free moisture barrier that everybody wants and getting into. But they're trying to make sure the breathability is right, because heat stroke is also a big thing in Arizona. It gets hot. So that's what they're looking. They're testing stuff, and they're always looking at newer kind of turnouts and stuff like that. Chief Wardell at the academy's testing new turnouts, and just Chief Giles real involved in that too. And it's just a big thing. Every lot of documentation, a lot of studies that are going to come out, and they're going to talk about a lot of stuff. And that's basically what they've been doing, for years, ever since PFAS came out.
Yeah, it's pretty wild the conversation is just accelerated so much through the cancer stuff. Again, getting back into old times. I remember you talked about it at the academy, Lope. Like we were down there for burns, which is like a live burn day where they have burns. And I remember being on my truck and taking your gear off and setting it down and then going off to just talk with whoever. And the recruits were cleaning my stuff. I was like, what are you doing? Why? Don't touch my stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like that. And
For multiple reasons.
and that was a click when you talk about like old timers. I guess to some degree I fall into that bucket, but I was like, what are you talking about? This isn't a big deal. And this is still to some degree before we were having a lot of these things happen. So it takes a little bit of time because like when you're ingrained in a culture where you just don't know any better, it's no one's fault. It's just, it's where we were at the time.
Yeah.
So when they're like, oh, we're cleaning our turnouts to prevent cancer, it's like, what? Like it was just so foreign. And I think the conversation's getting better and better, but they've also, I think it helps it change when it's made easy. And that's what you guys have been able to do. You've actually made huge strides and huge efforts in understanding what our world was and what our challenges are to be like, oh, roving. Oh, to the fact that he understands how hard it is to have LT and ladder turnouts. When you get one dirty, you no longer have two for both. Well, you don't have a set for both. Yeah. So them being able to accommodate and understand how our world works has helped us change that culture probably a little bit faster than it would have otherwise.
Oh yeah. I mean, guys come in, they're like, hey, both of my sets are dirty. I was like, let me give you a reserve because we have reserve turnouts. They're new, but they're reserved and we'll get it to them. And then once their stuff's clean, we'll just take that reserve back, give them their turnouts.
Do you feel a lot of pride that, I mean, this is an important thing.
Oh yeah.
Like you feel like you're playing a part in this whole keeping guys from dying.
Oh yeah. I love it. I mean, I love what I do and it's awesome. I mean, the guys are great out there and dude, they come in and they talk about, my team is also a big part of it, those guys, and just come in and tell them how much of a great job they're doing. And, they love it.
Are you in charge of like refining processes and coming up with new approaches?
I mean, I look into it. I'm low man on the totem pole, so those guys, they do a lot, the chiefs and the captains, but they bring me in and they talk about, hey, what are some new processes that are going on? The vendors come in, talk about all the new stuff that's, coming out. They're like, hey, we do a lot of testing. We test a lot of stuff before we put it out there in the field, and that's what they do. Chief Guile and Cap Schneider, they test a lot of the new stuff. The vendors come in, hey, we got new gloves, we got new turnouts, new boots. This is a kind of the process we're looking to go. You guys want to test it? We're like, sure.
Is any of that new stuff anything you're excited about?
Oh, for sure. The guys are going to love the new turnouts they're testing.
Yeah? Why?
Yeah. Just, it's more of a different cut. Shoulders are kind of separated from your chest, more mobility. So when you lift up your arms, the coat doesn't come up. That's a big problem with the, guys that are tall or
it's letting it all in.
Yeah. You're just lifting your arms up and the coat comes up.
Right.
Yeah. So they're, Lion's coming out with a new design, and I think there's only 2 people testing it, fire department, and we're one of them.
Testing it by wearing it? Do you test it for the ability to clean it?
Do all that.
As well?
So live burns, academy burns all the time. So down there, live burns, skills courses, washing it, the wear and tear of it. How's it going to last? That kind of stuff. And, we'll test it for maybe 6-7 months, and then we'll send it back and give them our report.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how expensive those are going to be?
Yeah, but it's actually kind of cool because as I understand it, vendors, and I don't know if still holds true today, but I remember the vendors actually appreciated the way that Phoenix tested things.
Yes.
Because we actually put it through the ringer.
Yeah.
So when they got feedback, it wasn't necessarily that they were trying to combat that. They were like, hey, thank you, because now we can make the product better, and it actually benefits them nationwide as opposed to just a simple, RFP, like, okay, here's how much it costs. Here's what the vendor says is good. Here's this. It's like, no, Phoenix took it and they put it through the ringer, and this was their feedback, and they make those changes. I think they're pretty receptive to them. At least that's how it used to be.
Yeah, no, it still is. Yep. So they want it. Cool. If they want something broken, they say it can't get broken, send it to Phoenix. We'll find a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I see it all the time.
Nice reputation. Send it to us if you want it broken.
Well, that's what it is. Like, the drills and stuff, when he talks about skills course, that's ultimately what we're mimicking. You're dragging tires, you're flipping tires, you're going upstairs, you're dragging things upstairs, you're dragging things through a burn house, you're doing all these different things. So, yeah, we put it through the ringer.
Do you have to reapply coatings? Obviously, water repellent coating like PFAS are on the turnouts, but is there any reapplication of waterproofing stuff, or you're just cleaning?
Yeah,
you're not
just cleaning. No.
How do you know when a set of turnouts is done? And like you just go, yeah,
So,
dude, you're not getting these back.
so they have the 10-year lifespan. So we'll look at the date, manufacture date. But if they come in,
It's
and
just on a tag or
yeah,
something.
it's on a tag. So it
And
has
you
a
just look at it and go, you're not getting this back.
yeah. So it's manufacturing date, you know, what size, all that kind of stuff. It gives you everything. So when we scan it into our tracking system, it, you know, it'll tell you everything that you need to know about this turnout. But you can also see, you know, physically like, oh, this guy's been through some stuff. Let's change him out. You know, safety wise, we do a tear test on the outer shell, and if it rips, gone. But some of that stuff's kind of like maybe I would say 3-4 years old. Like say you get a coat and it's 4 years old and a guy ripped it, we can send it to Arizona PPE and they'll repair it. Yep. Then
But you don't do that there.
No, we don't. Yeah.
What's Arizona PPE?
So they are a independent service provider. So they're like what we do, but for everybody else. So you know, different fire departments. So Mesa, you know, Tempe.
And they'll stitch up a ripped elbow or
They'll do
a
everything.
proper repair of that.
They'll lengthen your sleeves. They'll lengthen your pant, make your chest size bigger, smaller, pants smaller.
Do you do the fittings for the new recruits now?
We do. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
wow.
funny because he referenced Tim Derby. That's who did mine. I
Yeah.
like remember going down there. You're like,
So I'd wear
happy
like a
kind of-
2XL, right?
42 coat. You're in
Triple
it.
extra
Dude,
small.
You can probably eyeball it at this point, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd be a what?
A 42 coat.
What is my coat size?
The
for my
natural
suit?
reaction to every married man on the planet.
He just looked at
What
me
size
like a
am I?
tailor.
What do I like?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's, dude, it was cool. And I don't know if you do it the same way. They used to say, hey, this is your turnout day. You'd go down to what is now a massive room, but you go down to Tim Derby and he kind of looked like Alan Jackson looking dude. And
He
he'd
did.
look at you and he'd be like, 42 coat, 33 waist.
Yeah.
And he'd throw it on you and he'd be like, I don't like that. We're going to go 36.
Yeah.
Like, and they'd put it on you and they'd be like, here's your set, here's your turnouts. And you'd go. And I'm
Yeah.
sure it's probably about the same
Yeah.
amount.
Now we have sizing sets. So now
Okay.
it's easier.
Okay.
What's a sizing set?
So basically it's like, you know, 42 coat. So
Oh,
we're
you
like,
just
yeah,
try this on?
Try this on.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we write it down on a paper. And then when we're all done, we pull all your guys' new stuff, both sets, and we send it to the academy. And then when you guys get there on the first day, it's all there.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool. What like what kind of volume does your little shop have? How many sets of turnouts you clean in a day and gloves and
I would look at maybe about 40 to 45 sets a day.
wow, so there's some fire
Yeah.
stuff going on out there.
I mean, there's,
Yeah.
I would say that 6 alarm we had a while back, that was maybe 150 turnouts the whole week, 200 maybe.
wow,
Flying
from
in.
one event.
Yeah, one event. Flying.
Summer's wild, huh?
Summer is wild. Summer's wild, winter's calm. But
Why is that?
Well, the fires you're getting in the summer are what we call campaign fires. So it's just involves so many more people because it's junkyards, it's, you know, mulch fires, it's
guys
whatever
will
it
leave their
is.
trash outside and, you know, catches on fire. Then it jumps.
So now a fire in the summer may grab, you know, 100 guys, whereas a fire in the winter is a house fire, commercial fire that only involves a smaller amount of trucks. So it just, and then what's probably makes it worse for you is the campaign fires. They'll rotate people because they'll burn for
Yeah.
48 hours. So
Oh,
they'll
you're
be
just
like,
dumping
hey,
water on it.
engine 22, you've been here for 9 hours. Go home. We're going to have engine 52 from the other side of town come and replace you so that you can.
Like what's the capacity? Like what is like more than you can do? Like you want to turn around 24 hours, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's,
Do you ever get up to the edge where
yeah, some days, but we make it happen. We'll make it work. I mean, it's always, you know, you can always dry and put together, inspect, and, you know, I got 3 guys and they do it. So it's, you know, you're drying, that takes the longest. Washing's like an hour and a half, you know, drying maybe 3-4 hours. And it's just on constantly inspecting, putting together, inspecting, putting together. So, I mean, we've been to the limit. That 6 alarm fire put us to the limit, but we made it through. And guys got all their stuff back and they were happy.
do you get a lot of support from the city when it comes to new processes or proper equipment and
Yeah,
stuff
Chief
like
Kyle
that?
puts in. Chief Kyle always advocate for us. Like, hey, you know, he's looking to buy a new extractor, 130 pounder, you know, and that fits 35, 40 sets.
At one time?
Yep,
What exactly does an extractor do?
it's the same as a washing machine. Just
That's it.
High
It's
mains,
just-
yeah, like what the hotels use.
So it just fills up,
Yep.
scrubs, spins, whatever, and
You got to
Yeah,
go
no-
see it. You got to put eyes on it to see
Yeah,
these things. Are
no
massive.
agitator, just, you know, full span front wash, front loader.
what happens? So all the metal, sediment, soot, gross stuff that comes off turnouts. What happens to that stuff?
So goes down the drain.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
We'll edit that
Is
part
that
out.
good?
Yeah. Edit that.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. They're everyday products though, so I don't understand. I mean, you could
Yeah.
probably talk to an environmentalist about
Yeah.
this. That's kind of the
Waste
sad thing,
management.
right? Is
They probably
I
filter that
wash
out.
motor oil off my hands,
Yeah.
and it goes down the same.
Just anything like you had a fire at the house, and it's just rolling down the streams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they probably filter that out. Waste management. So.
Yeah. I was wondering if there was some kind of like special procedure or hazmat thing to pick up all
That'd
that
be
crap.
nice.
But
Yeah. They're working on it.
interesting.
So randomly and not related at all, what even got you into the fire service?
So out of high school, I started doing construction, and with my uncle, and his son-in-law is Jackson Maldonado.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was, I was just working. I was 18 years old, didn't know anything. My mom worked for the city, and she's like, "Hey, the fire department is hiring," and I was like, "All right, cool." She's like, "I think you should, apply." So I did. Interviewed twice. Derby and Kevin Roach were on my board, and I got the job. I didn't know anything about turnouts, and it was from there on.
Are you the expert?
Yeah, Derby, took me under his wing. Kenny Link Jr. was there and kind of showed me the ropes. And then, it just time evolved. I started learning stuff, the process. We made the process better, and that was a big thing.
Nice.
So it wasn't
What was the process that you made it better?
just, more extractors, soaking. We really didn't soak back in the day, and we soak now. We wash, dry, inspection. Our inspection they weren't as good. We weren't doing a hydrostatic test. Now we do a hydrostatic testing.
What's that?
So basically, it pumps. It's a little machine. You put the moisture barrier in there, and then you pump it up to PSI, and then you'll see it'll foam up, and it has water. So if it starts to leak through, you'll see pinholes and stuff like that, like leaking.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got to send it off to get it repaired.
Dang.
Yeah.
You take this stuff seriously. Which
It's
is
a pretty
great.
cool operation, man. If you see it down there,
Come down anytime. Like
I
we're
like
always
check
there.
that out sometime.
Yeah.
I geek out over that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But I still it's almost like somebody out there's got to be developing like a self-cleaning set of turnouts or some kind of fabrics or technology that naturally like repels carcinogens or something.
Well, that was the goal of
Coatings,
this whole thing, right? I mean, it's like if somebody can see what the fire service is dealing with that has no interest at all in the fire service or
Yeah.
no knowledge, it's like, oh, we'll put this out. And they're like,
Yeah.
wait, they're dealing with what? Like, I can
Yeah.
fix that. Like,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is like,
No,
and they're
yeah,
going to
for
come
sure.
in and
And you know it. There's some guy out
There
there
is.
who's like just who's working on a special fabric for something else. He's gonna be like, I didn't know they had that problem in the fire service. I've got this fabric technology that and then suddenly
Yeah.
you got the next jump in technology.
Yeah.
You know?
There's always new stuff coming out. I mean, guys they're always testing stuff, new material.
yeah.
It's always happening. It's just a long process.
My great grandfather was in 1908 was on the Chicago Fire Department, and his ladder was pulled by a horse, and they had a blacksmith in the station and a like a horse keeper or whatever they are to like they had to have the horses fresh and fed and ready to go and but a blacksmith at a fire
That was
station
part of the whole gig.
yeah, I guess I don't even know what that would be for, but yeah, it was super interesting. But he wore like a wool coat. It looked like he almost looked like a train conductor, like a guy who'd take your ticket on like a old fashioned train. He
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
have. I mean, it wasn't like extravagant
Oh,
gear, you know. I
Yeah.
don't know if they
Gear
had
has
gloves.
evolved a lot. Used to wear day boots back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember what that looked like? Have you seen those?
No.
And you guys would just wear high boots. So it's just an oversized jacket that would go lower, and then your boots would be higher. No pants.
So you can go wading out into a pond or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
That was the thing.
It's got your oversized rain boots.
Yeah.
But that's what you don't, I mean, who knows what's going to happen next?
Yeah, you never
Like,
know.
Yeah. Who cleans the helmets?
We do.
You do that too?
Yeah,
So it's not just turnouts. You're
No.
doing helmets, gloves,
Mask.
what do they call that?
SCBA mask.
No, the
No,
hood.
the hood.
Yeah,
Oh,
Nice.
the hoods. Yeah.
is that just called a hood?
Yeah.
No, Max. And that's a little different setup too, because we have those at the station.
Yeah.
Usually.
What about like their socks? And I mean, shouldn't those be cleaned as well in
That's
in a
their kind of
special
stuff.
way?
Yeah, you're on your own.
Yeah,
We're
you're
on
on
our
your
own.
own on
We
that.
got to keep our
Yeah.
superhero socks
I mean,
clean on our
if you're
own.
wearing your gear the proper way, those are particular blocking
Yeah.
turnout, so you're not going to get any carcinogens or smoke into this right here.
Is you don't ever smell smoke on your shirt?
I mean, you do. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody looks at these things differently. But again, how far we've come where I wasn't comfortable with anybody cleaning my gear to the point that I am not really comfortable bringing even my clothes home now. So I wash them at the station. I keep them at the station.
Yeah.
I don't bring my own clothes in and wash them at the station.
Yeah.
It's that dividing line
Yeah.
where you feel like, hey, I mean, do what you can do. And then you just kind of have to hope for the best.
Yeah.
But we're pretty fortunate to have guys like Lope and his team and some knowledge that's been brought to us to know like, hey, here's some things where you can continue to mitigate it and give yourself the best chance.
Okay. He's such a happy guy. And he's so passionate about what he does. We have big bright
I'm
smile.
always
It's
happy.
like,
It's his whole team too.
Yeah.
Dude, they're all happy. It just like sets the example, bro.
It's a great workplace.
That's just-
work hard, play hard.
Yeah.
That's my motto.
that's just awesome. Well, you do something really important. Is there anything we haven't talked about that you'd like for everyone to know? Any hopes, dreams?
Oh no, send in your gear. That's it. We'll
Yeah.
take care of you.
It's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you jumping on here today.
Oh,
and
yeah, thank you
teaching
for the
us all
invite.
about what all you do and trying to keep the guys healthy and anyway, super grateful. Thanks
Yeah.
for being here today, man.
Thank you for the invite.
Yeah.
I
You might not
appreciate
hear it very often, dude, but from our perspective as somebody who is unquestionably, helping prevent us from cancer diagnosis is like, dude, thank you for what you're
Oh,
doing for
I
all of our guys,
appreciate it.
dude.
Yeah, you're
It's
welcome.
really cool
I
work what you guys
appreciate it.
do.
Thank you.